scared I only have 15 seconds. My name is Carleen Fischer Hoffman, but I'm also known as Doctor. 15 years ago, I was invited to attend a breakfast meeting for women business owners. And as they went around the room, person by person, I couldn't believe all the energy and excitement that filled the room. And even though I was only a guest, they asked me to stand up and say a little bit about myself. Shy at the time, I talked about how unsatisfied I was about my job and how I wanted to make a career change. Well, you would not believe what happened. See, what happened was my boss's wife, she was there. Yeah, and she heard the whole thing. But later on, after the meeting, she came up to me and said, "Come to my office, I'll help you write your resume." And she did. And eventually I did get a new job, but that was working for someone else. That wasn't working for myself. So along my journey, I learned 5 lessons that I'm going to share with you tonight. Pay attention and honor the things that you like and do well. Investigate your business options and start slowly. Take a bad situation and find the good in it. Get involved, meet people, and hear the stories. And lastly, don't be afraid to share your ideas. So, lesson number 1, pay attention and honor those things that you do well. So around the time of that WBOA meeting, my grandfather passed away. And I got married and I moved out. And my mom was so upset, and she didn't take either of those events very well. Now let me just back up for a minute. It's not that she didn't like my husband, Brad. It's just that I'm an only child. Well, what happened was depression set in, and she started buying and holding on to things. So much so that her bedroom got cluttered from top to bottom with stuff. She couldn't sleep in her room anymore. She had to sleep out in the living room on the couch. So I started going over there and spending some time with her, talking to her and helping her go through her things. And by helping my mom get through the clutter, it helped her get through her days easier and then back on the path to living a healthier life. And it was during that time that it dawned on me that I got this gift. And maybe there's somebody else out there that I can help, just like my mom. Well, after a few chai tea lattes, that's when the Clutter Doctor was discovered. And I decided that this is something that I should check out. When I first meet someone and I talk about my business, I'm always asked, "Have you always been this way?" Well, yeah, I kind of have been. I remember being a very well-organized child. I even organized my stuffed animals when I was growing up. They had to be in a very specific order. So first, it was my little pink dolly. And then it was Tigger with the little bell in his tail. And then my purple hippo. And they had to be lined up on the bed, just so. Then I remember going on vacations to the Cape. And before doing anything else, I had to unpack everything and get it all folded nicely and put in the drawers. And that drove my cousins nuts because they wanted to go out and play. But I wanted to sit there and get my stuff all taken care of. As I got older, I took pride in organizing anything I could get my hands onto. I would rearrange my bedroom constantly. And if there wasn't anything to organize, then I would start reading books and articles on the subject. I just loved it. But working with my mom really made me think for the first time about organizing as a possible vocation. It's so easy to overlook something that comes easy to you and then realize that that skill may have some value to others that find it difficult. Lesson number 2, investigate your business options and start slowly. So after I started helping my mom, I started talking with my friends and my family about this business idea. And my parents did not like it at all. They thought that I should remain in the corporate world and continue going on. But I decided that maybe I should investigate and see where I could take this. So I ended up registering for a course at STCC. And that course taught me how to research my business idea, write a business plan, and then how to conduct a feasibility study. And by the end of all that, I felt prepared that I could possibly do a business, but I had no idea whether or not this would fly. So you know what I did? I did it anyway. I started slowly working with family and friends, and then once I was comfortable, I started venturing out and doing my job, my business, part-time, while I was working full-time at the best corporate job ever, doing HR, benefits, and wellness. Basically, I got paid to play ping pong tournaments, Super Bowl tosses off of the second floor, and a Halloween parade were just some of the things that I created while I was working there. But soon I realized there was no way I could work 2 jobs at the same time. It was too much. And I had no idea how I was going to handle this. I knew I had to make a decision, but I didn't know what to do. And fate had it in it for me because I ended up getting laid off from my job. And that was probably the best thing for me because that forced me into making the decision and going ahead and really digging in with the Clutter doctor. Being an entrepreneur is hard work, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You have constantly working. You're wearing the hats that are needed to run a small business, and a lot of times you're alone. With the type of work I do with the Clutter doctor, it can be very physical because there's a lot of lifting involved. And as you probably figured, some of the situations that I'm involved with aren't exactly ideal. But despite those challenges, I find my business so rewarding because I'm helping other people and businesses make a positive impact in their life and in their bottom line. At times, I do have to be diplomatic. Do I mention the gun that I found in the grocery bag?
No.
Or the cans of dog ashes in the kitchen cabinet? Or the men's underwear in the office? Do I suggest a better place to store these things? And sorry, ladies, client confidentiality, I can't tell you anything else about the men's underwear. I take great pride when I see that systems I put in place are working for my clients, or that they've taken something that they've learned from me and they've applied it more broadly. But what's most rewarding for me is learning about my clients and hearing those stories about their possessions and making those personal connections that form lasting relationships with them. Lesson number 3, take a bad situation find the good in it. So as I mentioned, my mom's depression actually helped me think about going into business. And when I lost that job, well, that forced me into it too. Both bad situations, but ended up turning into something good. They both helped me go and build my business. Now, along my journey, my dad passed away, my mother passed away, and as some of you know, my father-in-law just passed away. And these life changes have forced me into situations that I really didn't think I would be experiencing until I was much older. I was in charge of my parents' care, and I had to make decisions about their health. And then later on, I was involved completely in the process of planning memorial services, picking out caskets, and writing and performing eulogies in front of large groups of people. And while that wasn't exactly the best of times, I really feel that each of those deaths were something that were good life experiences because they helped me learn something new that I could bring back to my business. My experiences were expanded, I faced my fears, and I built up my confidence. I find that many of my clients need me at a similar time in their life, typically a significant family event, when they have a move, a death, in addition to the family or kids moving out. And I can relate and sympathize by listening and applying my Clutter Doctor magic. Lesson number 4, get involved, meet people, and learn their stories. You select how you spend your time. Life is short, choose wisely. So earlier in my career, I joined the International Association of Administrative Professionals. And I was a member with them for 11 years, serving on most committees and then working my way through the ranks up to president. And I really enjoyed my membership with that group because it allowed me to meet other administrative professionals, exchange ideas, but more importantly, complain about our bosses. I learned how to write reports, take minutes, and give presentations. But what really matters is that I formed lasting relationships with the members that were there. Some of them are here tonight, and I'm so happy that you're here. So after I established the Clutter Doctor, I had to make the choice of leaving that group to join WBOA. And I did it because it better suited my needs at that time. And over the past 15 years at WBOA, I have really enjoyed watching this group grow. Not just in membership numbers, but watching how technology has changed our path and how the members within have weaved the fabric of WBOA into the direction that we take. It's good to keep in mind that any relationship that you have with a group, whether you visit or you join, should be more than networking as defined by handing somebody your business card. It's about digging beneath that card and making those personal connections and hearing the fascinating stories that each of us have to tell. I've heard some pretty fabulous stories at WBOA over the years. Have you heard the one about an attorney who gave up her practice to open up a yoga studio? How cool is that? Or what about the woman that made jewelry out of coffee beans and sold the jewelry to a distributor that led to a pop-up shopping business? Or how about the young lady that took so many acting classes and did so much acting in high school that she is now running a successful clown business? Stories like this get people inspired. What's your story and how will you tell it? And lesson number 5, Don't be afraid to share your ideas. So on a trip with Brad to Bermuda, I saw these amazing displays about green living and about the environment. And during that time, I happened to have been sitting on the Green Committee for the town of East Long Meadow. And a few weeks went by, and I still could not get those displays out of my head. It was driving me nuts. And I decided that I would share with the committee what I saw. Well, they thought that the displays were a great idea, but they came back to me with all these questions, typical town stuff. Ugh, where are you gonna get the money to do that? How will the displays be made? Who's gonna make them? Where will they go? Well, here we go with those chai tea lattes again. And after a few of those, I ended up creating a miniature display. And I went back to that committee and I presented a plan. And I told them that I would write a grant to get the money. But I had no idea how to do that. And I also told them that Brad would build the displays. So the committee, they were a little skeptical, but they liked the energy that I had, so they gave me the okay to go ahead and do it. So to make a long story short, I followed my idea. I wrote that grant, and I got the money. I went to the hardware store for ideas, and I emailed back and forth with the curator at the Bermuda Museum so I could get ideas for Brad to build the displays. He's a great guy. So after everything was finalized, I got permission to place those displays in the town library. And then later on, they actually got rotated throughout the different town buildings. It was pretty neat. So keep in mind that sharing ideas and brainstorming in a safe environment can actually help grow and enhance your business. My former boss's boss's wife helped me 15 years ago, and I know many of you in this room have helped launch and improve women business owners here in the Pioneer Valley. So in closing, you gotta remember these little tips. Pay attention and honor the things that you like and you do well. Second, investigate your business options and start slowly. Third, take a bad situation and find the good in it. Fourth, get involved, meet people, share your story. And lastly, don't be afraid to share your ideas. I'd like to thank WBOA for this very special honor. It really means a lot to me, and I value all the time that I've spent with all of you here in this room. Thank you so much.